To round out the first half of the Team Quadrilla Marble League in Season 5, we make way for our third brand new event of the season, the Obstacle Course. Welcome back to the Team Quadrilla Marble League, hosted by the Venomous Vipers. Now I mentioned brand new event, but of course this event made its debut in the qualifiers of the season, so all of the teams have done this event recently, whether that be in the friendly round or the qualifiers. This event starts off a bit similar to the last event with the lanes, but of course the Quadrilla blocks which the marbles have to go through can trip them up if they're not careful. And then they enter the meat of this event, the Gravitrax, where the marbles come together and really jumble up and try to get ahead of each other. And going into the final section with the beam, if you go across the beam far enough, you can save a lot of time towards the ending of this course. The last part a bit modified from what we saw in the qualifiers to balance it a bit, but the premise is about the same. And looking at the standings after the 7th event, the Deep Divers have a 10-point lead over the host, the Venomous Vipers, and it's a further 12 points down to the Rosebloods, and the Bacon Brawlers jumped up into 4th place with a bronze in the last event. Now for the test run for the obstacle course, to show us how it's done, Ocean Ophidians down to the Snake Eyes. These marbles love showing us how it's done here in this season, and off they go. Copperheads and Snake Eyes got the best jump, but the Death Adders make a nice move there, and they now have the lead. Copperheads in 2nd place, and the Copperheads make a move for the lead, going across the beam, and they will get ahead of the Death Adders. The Death Adders, I think, might have fallen to 3rd place. The Snake Eyes also rode the beam all the way towards the end, and I think they might have got them towards the end as well. You can see the Copperheads definitely getting the win there, and I think the Snake Eyes also got by. A lot of different pathways taken in this event here in the test run. They did a great job of showing all the different possibilities of this event. And Brown Scales with the Copperheads gets the win there, and Snake Eyes by 500ths gets ahead of the Death Adders. Now on to the main event. Deep Divers, Green Supreme, Shadow Riders, and Pumpkin Patch in the first heat. The championship leading Deep Divers are in this one. And who gets the best jump? Looks like Green Supreme slightly has the lead. Shadow Riders now have a huge lead ahead, and the Pumpkin Patch in 2nd place. The two lower down teams in the championship here, and the Pumpkin Patch takes the beam all the way towards the end, and they will get the win. Shadow Riders had such a big lead in the Gravitrax, but that pretty much evaporated instantly with the Pumpkin Patch doing the beam perfectly, and they easily will get the win, and the Shadow Riders do hold on to 2nd place. It needed to take the beam for the Green Supreme or the Deep Divers in the back, but both of them complete non-factors in this heat. Deep Diver is going to be dead last here. And for Marine, one of the best marbles in the Team Quadrilla Marble League, it's a big surprise for them. The championship leaders are going to get a very poor result in this event. And now, Venomous Vipers, will they be able to capitalize with Boa, their reserve? They're faced with the Maze Runners, Cold Fusion, and the Treat Fleet. The Maze Runners get out in front. Cold Fusion now very fast in the Gravitrax, and those two are well ahead. It's going to take the beam for the other two to get by, and it's not going to happen. None of the marbles in the second heat takes the beam, which means Maze Runners and Cold Fusion are going to cruise to advancement. Look at how far back the Treat Fleet and the Venomous Vipers are here. The Vipers, after just seeing the Deep Divers get knocked out in the first heat, they're not going to do much better here, if at all. So they're also going to get dead last here. And look at this battle for 1st place. Neither Cold Fusion nor the Maze Runners take the beam. They just about finish very closely. The Maze Runners entering that final section 2nd and exiting in 1st, the better final section. And the Vipers going to get a very slow time, still faster than the Deep Divers, but not by much. But now, in the 3rd heat, Bacon Brawlers, Golden Cheeses, Bobble Squad, and the Poison Ivy. Bobble Squad jumps the railing there a bit, but they're still close proximity with all 4 of the marbles. Poison Ivy will take the lead, and the Golden Cheeses just about are going to hold on to 2nd place. That was very close with the Bobble Squad. The Bobble Squad did take the beam a little bit, but I think didn't manage to go on for that long. Oh, and you can see that nudge by the Golden Cheeses, nudging the block to push the Bobble Squad just about off, which prevents them from advancing. The Golden Cheeses, great tactics in this match here, just about will prevent the Bobble Squad from getting by them, and the Golden Cheeses with Mozzarella will advance along with Toxin of Poison Ivy, the 15th place team in the championship, mind you. The two red teams are going no further. Now in the final heat, Rosebloods, Valley Dashers, Team Atlantic, and the Efficient Eggs. The Bacon Brawlers also getting knocked out. The Rosebloods, the only team in the top 4 that have a chance at advancing. The Valley Dashers have the lead right now ahead of Team Atlantic. Team Atlantic now takes it. The Rosebloods are close in 2nd place, and the Rosebloods will take the beam and will get the win. Rosebloods in 3rd place, the only one of the top 4 that are going to get advancement here. And now they have a great chance at closing the gap to the top 2, which has been quite a big one for quite a few events. And Team Atlantic didn't take the beam but entered the final section first. They are also going to get advancement. The Valley Dashers did take the beam pretty much perfectly. They were too far back at that point. It did not matter. And the Efficient Eggs in the back, very slow time for them, 10.69. That is going to be dead last in this event. The Rosebloods and Team Atlantic, though, are going to move on. The Valley Dashers will get the best of the rest, but Venomous Vipers, Bacon Bros, and Deep Divers 13th to 15th for those teams. That's 3 out of the top 4 that are all in the bottom 4 for this event. On we go to the semi-finals. A huge chance for many of these lower down teams to catch up. Pumpkin Patch, Cold Fusion, Poison Ivy, and Team Atlantic. Poison Ivy very slow in that first section, but they catch up very nicely. Team Atlantic now has a lead, and Poison Ivy will take it from them. Team Atlantic gets stuck a bit, but a bump from the Cold Fusion, and Team Atlantic will get the win and advancement. Cold Fusion getting blocked by Team Atlantic. They had an opportunity to get by the Poison Ivy. It was very close between the top 3 here. None of them took the beam here. And Team Atlantic, oh, that block crushed the hopes and dreams of the Cold Fusion. You can see, here's Poison Ivy taking the lead, but they stall a bit. For a moment there, the Cold Fusion was ahead of the Poison Ivy. But momentum was halted for them, and so is their chances at advancement. Poison Ivy and Team Atlantic are going on to the final. Both of those two teams haven't got a medal yet, so one team is guaranteed their first medal of the season. But we'll see who joins them in the final. With the second semi-final, Shadow Riders, Maze Runners, Golden Cheeses, and the Rosebloods. Golden Cheese very far back, but they catch up nicely once again. And it's the Rosebloods that have the lead right now. Maze Runners in second place, and they will hold it. No one takes the beam once again. And the back 2 cannot catch up. Very close for first place between the Maze Runners and the Rosebloods. Maze Runners had great momentum towards the end of the course. And I think they might have got by. That was a photo finish pretty much between them and the Rosebloods. And the Shadow Riders and the Golden Cheeses, they were close for pretty much this entire heat, but it's not going to be enough for them to get by the Rosebloods or the Maze Runners. And by 0.04 of a second, Harvest pips Hibiscus to the finish line. Both are moving on though, of course, as we look towards 5th through 8th. Shadow Riders get 5th place, then it's the Cold Fusion, Golden Cheese, and Pumpkin Patch round out 7th and 8th. But now for the final, who captures gold in the obstacle course? Narwhal, Hibiscus, Toxin, and Harvest. Team Atlantic, Rosebloods, Poison Ivy, and the Maze Runners here. The Maze Runners coming off a gold medal in the sprint. Can they go back to back here? But Team Atlantic are very fast, but they get shoved aside to the back. Rosebloods now will take the lead, and it looks like they'll cruise to the gold medal. The Rosebloods will capture gold, and the Maze Runners coming to the final section last. They do enough to get ahead of Team Atlantic and the Poison Ivy. The Rosebloods dominant, especially towards the end of the course, and they will capture their first gold of Season 5. And the Maze Runners had a great burst of speed towards the end there to get by the Poison Ivy and Team Atlantic. In fact, Poison Ivy coming into the final section second. They are going to be medalists in this event. But it's the Rosebloods with Hibiscus, their first gold medal ever in the Team Quadrilla Marble League, and by over a second they will get the win here in the obstacle course. Maze Runners, another medal for them, and Team Atlantic, after just missing the medal in the sprint, they will stand on the lowest step of the podium. So well done to them. And as a result, after the first half, the Rosebloods take the lead by 2 points over the Deep Divers. Venomous Vipers also drop to 3rd. Maze Runners with that silver medal jump up to 4th place. Valley Dashers, Team Atlantic, Golden Cheeses, Bacon Bros rounding out the top half. And looking at the Coaches Championship after 4 of 8 individual events, the Rosebloods and Maze Runners go 1 and 2 here as well. Cold Fusion drop to 3rd. Then it's the Golden Cheeses and Team Atlantic. Bacon Bros, the championship leaders in the Coaches Championship, drop to 6th. A lot of changes here at the halfway mark as we make way for the next event, the Quadrilla Descent, which we'll see for the A Division.